Hello, I'm Patricia McNeilly. I am a Blu-ray twin flame in Chicago, Illinois, from Twin Flame Body and Twin Flame Merge. How are you today? Today, in this video, I want to explain quite a bit about why some of this has taken so long, why lengthy separation for people, and why some things have had to heal or should still need to be healed prior to coming together. Now, this is the year for it. It is for unification, what people call twin flame union. And sometimes you can look around and, we're talking about the physical human level, physical union. But today I'm going to talk to you about some of the backstory as to why, what happened, when, where, what's getting disentangled, and being able to move forward. So as you can see, I have a world map here. I've erased all of the places that I've circled, which were places where I have spoken to people live. I have talked to people pretty much all over the world except where YouTube is restricted or hard to get. So that's in a lot of urban areas all over the world and, some not so urban populated areas. Twin flames tend to congregate in urban areas, and that's for a very simple reason. Cities need the high energetic, and yet the high energy of a city can have a massive effect on people and their energetic bodies, their subtle bodies. But nonetheless, twin flames tend to be in and around areas in various stages of their awakening process. Some are even unawakened, and you could say those people are holding steady. Now, what I want to talk to you about is some of what has happened just on Earth's history alone. So I'm going to take you back in time to about something like 12,000 years. And the reason I'm talking about this is some people's past lives. These are the past lives that I have helped people disentangle from very effortlessly. We're not talking about 3,000 years ago in ancient Egypt or 2,000 years ago in ancient Rome. We're talking 12 to 15,000 years ago. I talk to people who have lived in the ancient cultures of Lemuria too, which goes back about 100,000 years of Earth's time, of Earth years. Now, at that time, things were very different and things were aligned differently. As we know, there's a lot of concern about the planet and about things such as the warming effect. That is in part to a lot of the energy and attention that this planet is getting for ascension. Now, it's not intended to be detrimental, and yet there are quite a few fears raised about it. But if you go back and, to a degree, I'm going to be a little bit of a geologist and an anthropologist and a sociologist and a twin flame healer here, and someone who works with the psyche. At the deep psyche level is where people have these deepest memories, these longest and far go away memories. They'll vaguely have a sense or a feel of a place, but not really many of the details. However, any of the harms, the trauma, the shortened lives, that is what I help them with. So we had an ice age which covered most of this area here, and that made these areas very temperate. And this is found in a lot of the geology. You can see just in the rock structure, in the layers here, what has been there, what has lived there. So just like we find dinosaurs and dinosaur bones in the earth somewhere, there's a lot out here in the western United States. People love to find those. They love to find shark's teeth in Texas. They love to find diamonds in Arkansas. There is more to the history than that, and that is the human story and the human angelic story. So to go back here in time, you have had a supervolcano here around the Great Lakes, and ice structures. This land is what's called glaciated, which means it's very flattened out. That's what tons of ice do. You also have parts of Europe, and Northern Europe especially, in the area of the Alps, where some of the snow and the glaciers are melting. Some of the glaciers are melting here. But frankly, people need the water. We do know that here in Wisconsin, for example, this has led to a lot of very arable land. That means land that can be planted, land that can be used to graze animals for milk and so forth. So this opened up the quality of living for people who were stuck with hunting animals and eating sticks for a living. And I mean for a living, just to live and survive. So caveman days, just survival. We know about that. We know people want to go paleo because that's the caveman days. But what about the people who, are here from other places? Not everything resonates with everybody's body. And that's when we get into the genetics of who's come from where and why. I have a question on my brand new website called Are You a Starseed? Starseeds have been living in key spots so that they have the protection of the vortices of the planet, the high level energy vortices that were here after the fall of Atlantis. And so they've been here, they've been here, they've been here, they've been in Egypt, they've been in India, and a few other key places here. At one time, this part of Greece was considered to be the spiritual seat of the world, the spiritual heart of the world. And now people say, well, it's over here in Hawaii. Oh, it's over here, it's over here. It's going to be wherever you feel you left your heart, as they say. You left your heart someplace. And that is where you've left your love. And this is bringing up my other point. You are at the point where you're gathering in your love from any of these places. Now, there is something else to be aware of. And this has to do with children. It has to do with your inner child. And it has to do with lifetimes of slavery. Yeah, there I said it. Okay, I've been wanting to say this for a while. And many people are the byproduct of being enslaved or being trapped or being a captive people or something like this. So you have histories of this. You have these people enslaving people, sometimes their own people. You have these people enslaving people, and this is a lot of countries, at least 38 countries enslaving people. You have people from here taking slaves from the Levant and moving them. You have people going back. You have people taking slaves from Europe and bringing them east. And you also have wars and battles. And there's a reason I'm saying this, and I do have a point here. You have Native Americans who have gone on slaving raids against other tribes. And, while the rules might have been different about that, the fact remains that many societies functioned under, over slave labor, you could say. This is a part of why you are being sort of held apart, not really held apart, but in a form of separation, so that some of this could actually be gotten rid of, and you stand a genuine chance of not having these things come up between you. Why? Because it's hard to live as an abused person, even if you can't identify where that abuse has come from. It's hard to live as a person who is fully in love if you haven't been able to make your own decisions about your own life. You have no choice in who to worship. You have no choice in what to eat. You have no control over your nutrition. And especially if you're a child, you may have been sold somewhere or taken or kidnapped. And that is where I come in, because I help people alleviate the deep, deep traumas, the grief, the how did we get here, okay? So you have something else, which I have mentioned before. You have what is referred to as the triangle trade, where people were traded and trafficked. And trading and trafficking in humans and in children's is still happening to this day. That is one of the things that I feel is incumbent on us as twin flames which is to not lend our energy anymore to these old things, these old structures that perpetuate the madness, perpetuate the grief of things that actually started in another time and place. And so in ancient Lemuria, here in this area of the Pacific Ocean and this western coast here, many were taken and kidnapped and brought elsewhere. And so there is a resonance of this that has been in place, which is like having a memory. It's like a collective memory of like, hey, let's take somebody else to do the work. Let's take slaves, let's take captives. Now you also have different things that people have done with that. Mass suicides. You have had people in Spain, for example, that have not wanted to be taken captive by Northern Africans from several countries. And so they, drank the Kool-Aid. You have had stories of people in ancient Judea who tried to beat the Romans and finally decided, hey, mass suicide. Why be taken alive? Okay. And you're here to live. You're not only here to live, you're here to get this stuff out. You're here to get not just memories or looking in a history book and saying, yeah, that was my ancestors. That's the ancestral stuff that a lot of people are getting out. If you have Slavic blood, okay, you have people in Russia, in this area, that maybe only about 100 years ago were emancipated out of being serfs, which essentially was slaves. So you have Eastern European people that many of them have Slavic history. They're called Slavic people. And again, I know I'm sounding like an anthropologist, but this has a huge bearing on what is being healed and why. Drinking might sound like a good idea to a Slavic person, but drinking is not going to be a good idea for unifying yourself with your true love. Addictions, drugs, drinking, smoking, fighting, cowering, feeling fearful, these are all things that you're not intended to feel as a true lover. And I'm here to help you with that. I am here to help alleviate the deep, deep sense of loss and grief that you might feel from having to leave your home country, 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 from having to get to another country and leave your home country. How many people in Australia, if you're not aware of Australia's history, Australia was started as a penal colony under the British Empire. And if you committed one of 19 crimes, you could be sent there, and it was called, I think, something like punishment by shipment. If you survived the sea voyage, you got to work as a laborer. And this is how this country established itself. Now, mind you, there were still people already here. And so there was a bit of a clash of cultures. I won't really touch on all of it, because the point I'm making is that we all have to get along, but we have to begin healing these deep things. You are the first people who are healing these deep things. If you have mixed ancestry, okay, many people were taken from here, and if they survived the sea voyage, maybe they only knew their grandmother's stories or their grandmother's recipes. Nothing was written down. You couldn't take anything with you. And people feel a deep, deep sense of loss. I'm Irish. We have had a couple of Irish diasporas, being kicked out, being kicked off the land, a potato famine, coming here, being persecuted, being a Catholic who listened to the Pope out in Rome, and not being able to really do anything much, even despite how we might have appeared. We were unwelcome and unwanted. We were unwelcome and unwanted. And, there's people here with the same genetic stock. Here, South Africa, many places. Many people from India have gone places. And you can find fabulous Indian communities with great food, great garments in many, many major cities. But why leave a beautiful country? Yes, for the very simple reason that maybe you can't get anywhere. Now, I am actually very grateful to see that many people have thrived or somehow overcome. And that's the key. We have to get everyone to the point where they are plugging into the higher energies. So if you are ready to clear your roots and fill your heart, despite whatever level of separation you're in, and stop the rigmarole about what's happening with, he did this, he did that, or she did this, she did that, she ghosted me, he ghosted me. Let's get busy with where you need to be, because you're equally creative. You are equally gathering in all the parts of you, all your fabulous glittering parts. So to let you know about that, while it may be easy to, look at someone and from their phenotype, which means facial features and other things, maybe guesstimate that you might know where they originate from, okay? But you will not know their angelic and cosmic originations. What kind of starseed are they? I can look at people's faces and tell them where they are from. You can take someone else and not necessarily know, and you could say, well, the eyes are this color and that, and all of our genetics are a roll of the dice, because it doesn't matter how science tries to manipulate it, nature always wins. Mother Nature always will win. And so what you're going to have are some people who are getting what I call the plunge. They're getting plunged into the water, sometimes head first, so that they can clear this stuff around. And this is not just plunging into the water, this is plunging into the emotions. This is really getting rid of things that need to be gotten rid of. Mentalities, attitudes, judgment, clearing the heart, cracking open the heart. You may be having heart pressure as the result. Some of that heart pressure might be financial. And if it is financial, it's time to reinvent, or it's time to adjust yourself. So I'm going to take the map down here because this is something that is still getting fixed. You will know if this resonates with you because it resonates with a lot of people. So what I'm going to talk to you about in this video, it has to do with worldwide growth and healing the past. Old wounds do not equal more pain. This means we're not supposed to keep hurting each other over what happened. It's time to transcend it. It's time to help you transcend whatever has happened, because when I help people transcend, even this life seems like a past life. You don't dwell on it. It can't hurt you anymore. It doesn't impact you. And it really feels like it's gone. It's like getting in a car and watching as it's in the rearview mirror. It gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and almost like a non-issue. In fact, it becomes a non-issue. It does not have to equal more pain. In fact, I try to help people get rid of their grief, their physical pain, any of the illnesses. Do these people know what runs in their family? Maybe, maybe not. People of African descent sometimes have blood issues that other people do not have. Some people have genetic issues that only run in a certain group or collective of people or nationality or ethnic group. So you're learning also to get along with the human family while becoming one with your true love. And we're going from human trafficking into new growth and expansion. The emergence is more than a renaissance. So part of that is technology, part of that is modalities, part of that is using your skill and your gift to, what do you know? What are you bringing to the table? What are star seeds bringing to the table? Is this new to you? You're not going to get this information in a tarot card. This is going way beyond some of that stuff. Readers are not going to be able to tell you things that they can only glean in the fourth dimension. I'm a multi-dimensional cosmic heart reader of you and your twin flames. So the key here is steer it into the direction where you start thriving, where you feel better, where those ancestral things are nipped in the bud and you're opening the spiritual DNA that is trying to be activated in you, so that your light body, your brand new twin flame body, compensates for any missing pieces or missing parts or chops in it or wherever it was cut off during history. Your emergence is your resurgence. So it's time for you to expand. I offer several sessions about this. I have 2 great webinars coming up. I have one on twin flame chakras and the sweet masculine, and I have one on leaving the 4th dimension that are coming up here. The links are below. I have my Psyche body session, which is for helping you very easily heal the inner child wounds that exist beyond this childhood. So your agreement with the parents that you were born to is a part of your karmic balancing. However, healing from this, healing it, sealing it, and feeling like yourself again, feeling safe, feeling loved and supported, that is what I'm here to help you with. And that goes way beyond just this life, way beyond somebody saying, hey, let it go. You can only let it go if it's fully removed and detached and like discarded. And you bounce up a level. Then you've let it go. Then you're looking at it in the rearview mirror going like, wow, that was really heavy baggage. What kind of baggage do you want to keep carrying here? Plus, there's your twin flame. What about their baggage? How many old marriages or old relationships are you willing to prop up with your loving energy? Do you just keep loving and loving until it hurts? That's not what you're supposed to do. Love yourself, invest in yourself. You will be guaranteed that there is a shift in your energies and it will keep moving for you. I have several great things to offer you. If you are not sure, please email me at twinflamesmerge@gmail.com. I will be glad to make a recommendation and schedule something with me. Schedule a session and find out how different it is to not just have a reading, but someone who can work with your energies and get it shifted for both of you. Because one thing is for sure, you will feel better, and I will tell you what to do in the following days. You get guidance on that as well. So thanks so much for watching. I hope that you're on board with why some of this stuff has taken so long. It's a very compressed time to fix lifetimes, eons of lifetimes where things have just gone wrong and you've had no choice in the matter, and now you do. So choose me, choose my sessions, and let's get this rolling with abundance. Abundance means love, living, real living, and thriving, and feeling loved. You're here for love. Don't talk yourself out of it. Bye.